When people think of plants, they don't picture deadly organisms that are out to kill you. But maybe this video will change your mind. Plants as simple as the wild cherry can get toxic when it's put under the wrong conditions. And did you know a pretty blue flower could kill you just by being pricked? The worst of all is the plant that looks like a jewel, but makes you suffer for it. Here are 10 dangerous trees you should never touch.
Seed Audrey swallowed had a hole drilled through it to make the necklace. The deadly toxin from within the seed seeped out of the hole.
Number 10. The rosary pea. Anything with a bright color looks like a berry in the wild, and you might even be tempted to eat it. But take a good look at this plant and remind yourself to run away from any place that has this pea growing. It's listed as one of the most poisonous plants in the world, and for good reason. Their inviting red color has attracted jewelers from all over the world. Their unique colors and shapes made it suitable for pieces of regalia. But that requires the act of poking the bead using a needle. One prick with a contaminated needle, and the poison can enter your bloodstream. After that, there's a very little chance of surviving. In fact, here are many reports of jewelers dying after pricking their finger on the rosary pea.
Before we move on, we've got a speed challenge for you. If you subscribe to Facts Junkie and hit the bell icon in the next 5 seconds, you'll win 10 years of incredible luck. Give it a shot. It actually works.
Number 9. Manchineel tree. The manchineel tree is also known as the death apple tree, and that's already enough reason to not go near it no matter how pretty the leaves look. The worst part is, it has a very simple and ordinary looking appearance. Nothing too special to help you identify it, except the fruit that grows there. It looks like a little apple, but one bite will turn your fate the same as Snow White's, without the kiss of healing. The fruit causes your mouth to blister and burn, and your windpipe starts to close up. And just standing near it can cause a lot of harm, since its trunk and sap contains a powerful allegro called forbol. This poison was so strong that it was used on traditional poison darts of the indigenous peoples. When it rains, things get even worse. The water that falls on the tree and then on can have the same stinging effect. Number 8. Monkshood. Monkshood looks like a fascinating flower, and those who have a childlike curiosity about them might be the easiest victims. The flowers are a striking purple color, and they even look like a monk's hood. In 2014, an unsuspecting gardener named Nathan Greenaway could not run away from the effects of this plant. He was working in a millionaire's yard when he walked past this bush and soon fell ill. The doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong, and he died just 5 days later from multiple organ failure. Monkshood, also known as wolfsbane, leaves patients with internal aconite poisoning, which slowly slows and stops the heart. It even causes extreme confusion and mania, as well as paralysis. On the outside, you might feel tingling, and your mouth would probably go numb too. Other than that, breathing becomes harder while your skin gets cold and clammy. Safe to say, just fully remain covered when you are out in the wild. Number 7. White snake root. White snake root would make a beautiful filler flower in bouquets, only if it weren't so bad for us. Like many other plants on this list, eating this would destroy you from the inside out, but in a very unexpected way. In fact, it enters your blood in a very peculiar way. Humans know not to eat this stuff. Well, at least you do now. But cows, they don't particularly watch our videos. Moreover, they like to chomp on those stuff a lot, so when they eat it, it remains in their body. Sometimes their milk also gets contaminated, and that's why death by white snake root is called milk sickness. Luckily, contracting milk sickness has been reducing almost zero nowadays, all thanks to the modern dairy industry and its farming techniques. Number 6. Oleander. The problem with deadly plants is that you never know which ones are dangerous, and some of them just look too pretty not to pick. Especially those that have become really common, like oleanders. These look beautiful and can be found in regular landscapes. The problem is that they're deadly to children and animals who like to munch on their leaves for no reason. Every part of this plant is out to kill you. Its milky white sap can cause skin irritation, and its smoke can cause intoxication. So if you see a particularly pretty plant with pink flowers, be sure to maintain distance. Number 5. Cerbera odolam. Cerbera odolam is also known as the suicide tree. So do you need us to go on and on about its harmful effects? It should be called the murderer tree though. That's because it's very easy to poison someone's food with a few seeds from this tree. Its poison isn't detectable by regular toxicology tests, so it's already been used for deadly purposes. And the death it brings is a very slow and painful one. One that includes stomach, cramping, diarrhea, and severe pain. Number 4. Hemlock. You might be familiar with hemlock, as it's the same plant that killed poor Socrates. The great philosopher was given this plant as a means to execution. In fact, many other prisoners after him suffered the same death. But even if you don't directly eat this plant, it can still hurt you. Its seeds are particularly attractive to birds, and they'll usually nibble on it without thinking too much. It doesn't hurt them, so why should they stop? However, their seeds make their meat deadly to us, and that's bad news for hunters. Some people have been poisoned by hemlock because they mistook the plant for parsnip, parsley, and even wild celery. If you want to buy your greens, just go to the store. You should also know that breathing the smoke of this plant can be just as deadly. This plant really doesn't want any friends. Number 3. Wild black cherry. When you think of cherries, you probably imagine a tart red fruit. Unfortunately, the plant of this fruit isn't as tasty. The only taste you'll get after eating it is a taste of death. When this tree is stressed by the weather or disease, its leaves and branches start to wilt. The wilting also causes a specific hydrogen cyanide toxin to form. And if this plant is ingested by livestock, it can cause cyanide poisoning. That's not all. Since this plant has a very tasty fruit, it's likely that humans will try to pick and eat it as well. While trying that, there is a chance you could get a taste of one of its leaves too. Early symptoms include irregular headache, hyperventilation, and general anxiety. Number 2. The Gympie. Australia is full of weird creatures. Even the plants there are deadly, especially the Gympie. It usually grows in lush green environments, and that's exactly how it hides. Just one instance of brushing up against the plant will lead to horrible things. When your skin touches the plant, it stings you with hundreds of tiny venomous needles that can leave you in pain for months. At worst, you'll start feeling a burning sensation that soon turns into a severe reaction as the painful toxin called moridin enters your bloodstreams. In the next half hour, your joints would ache, and you might get swelling under your armpits. Marina Hurley, an entomologist and ecologist, described the pain as like being burnt with hot acid and electrocuted at the same time. Simply breathing in the same air when this plant is near can cause itching rashes, sneeze, and unstoppable nosebleeds. Number 1. Giant hogweed. Gardening is a harmless and quite relaxing hobby, but in some cases, it can get you arrested. In the UK, planting a giant hogweed can get the police at your doorstep in no time. That's because these plants are so poisonous that its sap causes blisters on your skin. And if it touches the eyes, you can go blind. From afar, it looks like a really cool prehistoric tree with its reddish purple stem and fine spines. The furanow coumarins in the plant can cause burns after the affected skin is exposed in the sunlight, and after healing over a course of months. Some suffered reports that their skin remained sensitive to light. To top it all off, these plants glow like crazy and can produce up to 50,000 seeds per year. Alright, comment below which of these dangerous trees shocked you the most. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Facts Junkie, and we'll see you in the next one.